goes live. All right, we're going to get started. Go ahead and get your mindset ready, brain cells ready. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Oh, man. I'm going to end the recording. Report to the cloud. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the Spiritual Growth Podcast. Oh, shit. Okay, ending the recording. There's like an echo now. I got to mute my YouTube. Here we go. All right. And actually, really quickly on YouTube, man, I need to edit this like default. Okay. Zoom.us/J/8381466. All right. 3, 2. Welcome, everyone, to the Science of Spiritual Growth podcast. This is a podcast about spiritual growth. We're talking about moral dilemmas today and spiritual perspectives on some moral conundrums. Basically, spiritual morals. So we're going to have some stories. We're going to talk about, options, and you're going to get some perspectives from, take it as an adult if you like these perspectives, but they're pretty well thought out. We're not rookies at this whole business. And speaking of us, let's introduce ourselves. This is Yogi Chris of Ninth Limb Yoga. Ninth Limb Yoga sponsors this podcast. Shout out Ninth Limb Yoga. And also have a PhD, so I call myself Yogi Chris PhD. I'm the founder of Ninth Limb Yoga. I travel the world teaching yoga, author of many books, hosting many podcasts. And yeah, the PhD was in engineering, so that's an unrelated field, but you might hear it seep through in my language. This show has a co-host. His name is Yuri Verbashchuk, who comes to us from Toronto, Canada, with full recall of a past life as a Southeast Asian monk. And he'll bring out some of his wisdom that he taps into with his advanced meditation practices here today on Science of Spiritual Growth. Welcome to the show, Yuri. Where are we going with this?
Thank you so much, Chris. Welcome, everyone that's listening. And yesterday we talked about, very briefly, moral dilemmas, ethical dilemmas. And a dilemma is defined as a situation in which a difficult choice has to be made between two or more alternatives, especially equally undesirable ones. So yesterday I Googled some moral dilemmas, some stories, and I thought it'd be interesting to talk about this. And so I'll ask you a very popular moral dilemma you probably heard before, and I'll give you some multiple choice questions, like what you would do, and I'll give the audience the same questions as well, and then just type your answer in, and I think it'll be interesting. So the first story is, you are a person working at a railroad track, and you enter into the control room, and you notice that there's a train speeding towards a group of men that are working on the tracks. And there's about 5 or 6 men, and they're all 20s, 30s, 40 years old. And you know that they can't see the train or they can't hear the train, then inevitably, if you do nothing, then the train will kill them all. But you have a choice to switch the rail, and the train will instead circle in a different direction. And in this direction, there's an old lady that's crossing the street or crossing the railroad track. And she's 80, 90, or 100 years old, whatever, how old she is, very old. She's likely going to die soon. And you have the choice to divert the railroad track, but you're going to instead kill this old lady. So the options are A, you do nothing. B, you switch the tracks. Or C, something else.
I don't know. Like, so you can't yell and save the guys?
No, in this hypothetical situation, you can't, because it's isolated room and you can't,
okay,
there's
so
no way for you to
warn them. So you either do nothing and it kills the guys, or you change the railroad tracks and it kills the old lady, or there's some option C, which is absurd, because yeah, if I was option C, I'd be Superman and I'd go and stop the railroad tracks. Well, I don't get it. Like, there's guys on the railroad tracks, but they're going to get, how fast is this train going that they can't get off the railroad track?
It's going very fast. It's one of the fastest trains.
That's absurd. I'd let it kill the guys. It's an absurd situation. The guys represent survival. So if those men are too dumb that they can't see a rail, then they deserve to die.
Okay. Okay, I'll ask you another one. Well, let's, if you're listening to this on Zoom, then answer your question and tell us why you would take the action that you do. Second question, I think, is a little bit more difficult. Let's say, hypothetically speaking, you are trapped in a concentration camp and your son is there with you. And your son decides to try to escape, and his escape attempt fails, and the guards capture him and hang him, and not like they put a rope across his neck, and they're ready to hang him, and they call you to pull the lever and to release your son so that he can die. If you do nothing, if you choose not to, then the guards will kill your son, and they will kill at least one other innocent person. Or if you pull the lever, then the guards will send you back to your cell, and that's it. What would you do?
There's a lot of missing information. It depends. If I felt as if my sacrifice of myself and the moral message of me having a tight-knit family would empower the other, whatever, slaves or captives in Auschwitz or whatever, then I would probably let myself be killed. But if I didn't think that that was going to benefit the people that were observing me do it, then I would just kill my son.
It seems that your decision is based on the other people, not yourself.
Yeah, it doesn't matter about myself. None of them are myself. You're basically, you're making ethical, moral decisions based on how you feel, then you're going to choose the wrong one.
Can you explain?
I mean, well, because you have too much vested interest. It's just, I mean, if it's your son, he's going to die either way. So the choice is take a stand as your ethics and principles, and then another person dies, or don't take a stand and nobody else dies. The mathematics of it is definitely just kill your son. But like, that's your son. So everybody's going to have an emotional impulse. Like, why did you not try to save your son? Or what are you doing? Why did you so willingly do that? And so if I felt that people that were watching me, other captives, would be empowered, that we would become tighter knit if I refused that, which seems unlikely, because then I was sentencing some random person to their death because they would just pick someone else. So I think in both cases, I would just kill myself.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have gotten caught.
Okay.
Shouldn't have gotten caught. Nature is merciless to men. That's why if you don't have it now, you got to learn it. If you don't have it, you got to learn it, because if you never learn it, you're never going to have it, and you're going to die miserable, because you'll never get what you want unless you're going to take a risk as a man. But that's part of it. Like, you take a risk, that means there's damage on the other side, potential of that. If you want whatever you want, most of which you want is for women. And if it's not for women, then it's for, it's absurd. Like, I met this guy last night that was so spiritual. He was Mormon, but a very spiritual, very, and not like a polygamist Mormon. He was very adamant about that's not moral, whatever. And I had a girl with me, and he was talking to her. It was absurd. She was buying into it kind of, but I totally got her straight later. And then he was just a moron about it, even though he's brilliant. He had, a multi-million-dollar company and managed many people. He was like, it's wrong to be with many people. I know it's wrong to be with many people. Like, blah, 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 blah. I couldn't swallow it anymore. And I say to him, I'm like, because there's an ethical conundrum. There's something that's relevant to people. Nobody here is going to be in Auschwitz. Nobody here is going to have a speed train that's coming at them. But everybody here who's a guy wants to be with other women. And everybody who here is a girl wants to feel secure in her relationship. There's some relevant or ethical, moral conundrums. And so I say to this guy, I'm like, wait, so you've never imagined being with multiple women? He's like, no. I was like, wait, really? Like, you've never daydreamed or night dreamed about being with two women at the same time? He was like, yeah, of course. It's like, oh, so would you ever do that if your wife was totally okay with it? I think he had 3 kids or something with a woman, been married to her since he was 19 or something. I was like, if she was totally okay with it and knew everything, you were hiding nothing, no lying, she was all okay with it, would you still do it? Or would you do it? Would you be with another woman? And he was like, well, no, I don't have time for that, man. It just takes too much time to be in multiple relationships. So I didn't drill it home, because he wasn't my friend. He was a friend of Brian's. And so I didn't drill it home. But later I drilled it into her head. I was just because people didn't see what happened. Basically, a man said it was morally wrong. And then turns out he was daydreaming about it. And then the next excuse became, I don't have enough time. So somehow morally wrong became, I don't have enough time for that. If he was truly believing it was morally wrong, it would have never been, I don't have time for that. That's not the reason. The reason is, no, it's wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong. Yeah, I have imaginings, but I can't control my body. It's just an animal body, but it's still wrong. It's wrong. No, it's there would never be, I don't have time for it. So it sounds like the answer is you think your business is more important than your relationships, and your wife's opinion about you being with other women is what's stopping you being with other women. So that's the truth of it for him. Situation, if your son gets caught, then, your son gets caught, man. Like your son got caught. He didn't have to try to run away. Yeah, I mean, it's easy to say that because I mean, fucking, I mean, I would probably try to run away. But that son chose that. That death was probably going to free him from the suffering. Death would be easier for him. I'd rather hang than be in a concentration camp. Shit.
Would you kill a person to save 10?
It's too generic. I mean, if knowing nothing else about the people, I don't know what gender they are, what age, I just know 1 for 10. Of course. Of course. Why wouldn't you be a moron not to? But if it's your mother and then it's 10 random people, no. 10 people can die. It's my girlfriend, no. 10 people can die. You know, and then you want to make it keep complicating things, but these are absurd questions because it's like, when are you going to be in that situation? You're contemplating things that are likely never going to happen and avoiding the things that are actually happening right now. I mean, that's not you. I'm not saying you, Yuri. I think these are fascinating, but I mean, yeah, I guess probably a little bit you, Yuri, but I mean, these things are kind of interesting, and those would be really interesting things to talk about with a girl because they keep the conversation going. It gives you an opportunity to express your morals without being like all higher than thou, like spiritual, like talking down to her. You can really talk about your ethics and morals with these kind of questions. Like I've just said, but all of the things I've just said, I've already said on the podcast before. You know, what's fascinating to me, what I haven't said except is the whole idea of men taking the risk. This is, I think, lost. You know, this isn't the Enlightened Masculinity podcast, which is our weekend podcast, mine with Akash. Well, we talk about more of those things, but you know, from a spiritual perspective, I think it's very ignorant as a spiritual leader of yourself, at the very least, even if you're not leading other people, to not be aware of the duality of the male-female, of the masculine-feminine, of the gender roles, not just like the gender role of like, you're a man, you should be like this, you're a woman, you should be like that, but she is looking to you to supply something that she is not able to supply, and you're looking to her to supply something that you're not able to supply. What is she looking to you to supply? Is survival, which one element of survival is successfully taking risks. You take the risk, risking the damage to yourself and your future, and you win. Do this, and she will be attracted to you because her genetics are programmed to be attracted to a man who can survive risks. Now, if you're a man and you don't survive risks, then I would say women should not mate with you. Why would she want to propagate those genetics? That would be dumb. She would be a dumb woman to choose a man who keeps taking risks and keeps failing at risks. You know? So the very first one was very easy. You kill the guys. The second one is also easy. The son. Now, I'm not saying it's easy in the moment. If it was my son and I was the dad, shit, that sucks. That it hurts. But you know, what conundrums are you going through in your life right now? You know, one of my conundrums is how hard do I push people on sales right now? I know it's for their own good, but there's the risk of like you push too hard and then you lose the future sale. Like maybe they get so perturbed or put off that then they just kind of say, fuck it, and throw their hands up and they just don't want to do it anymore. But the reward is that they actually sign up now. Like there's a girl that just signed up for the silent flute right now. She wanted to wait until we did a clarity call. And then, okay, I'll sign up right before the clarity call so it can be a coaching call. I'll do it next Monday. And I was like, wait, do it now. If you got time this weekend to study, sign up now and I'll get you the content now. And you start studying now. And then our coaching call will mean more. So she signed up. But that was a risk because I pushed in that direction. And she might say, well, you're too pushy. I don't want to join your program anymore. You're not the kind of person for me. So it's that risk. But it's so spiritual because what I know will greatly benefit her. I already read her form. We've already messaged back and forth many times. I know that I will benefit her. There's undoubtedly. I hear it in her language. And so there's a conundrum. There's a what did you call it? A moral
dilemma.
There's a dilemma where it's like, how forceful do I want to be? I want to give space and let the person make a decision. But the reason she's coming to me is because she's indecisive. She's coming to me because she's made wrong decisions. If I leave it up to her decision-making processes, she's historically made wrong decisions. That's why she's to me now. So how much do I lead and how much do I give space? And that's a man, you know, that's a dilemma. I'm clarifying that balance. Everybody's different. I could push harder on you, Yuri, than on her. But I could push harder on Cortez, a friend of mine that's in the military, than you. And I could push harder on, Brian Casella than on Cortez because we're good friends. And even if we got in an argument, we're going to sort it out. But if I got in an argument with Cortez, we maybe don't know each other so much. So it might, I don't know if we would mend that, you know. I could push harder on my girlfriend, actually. I don't know, her or Brian. I don't know. But I think Angelica has much more loyalty to me for the I don't know. That's tough. They're in the same ballpark, you know, that's close. And that's my best good friend, and that's my girlfriend for life. So you know, clarifying each individual as different, man, that is that is a purpose in life. Like, I don't know if purpose is the right word, but that is like such a useful skill to treat each individual as an individual and find that threshold and, you know, offer them value, man. Because I offer her time, the girl that signed up for the silent flute, because I'm shaving years off her evolution. She'll get to where she wants to go sooner and then reap the dividends of the new behavior and new language sooner. How much is your time worth? It was very easy for me to pay 25K, let's say, to Arash Dibazar, because I knew that adopting new language, which was totally fulfilled. I mean, he gave me an archetype and started feeding me lines and fed me some characters to study, and just gave me a whole new vocabulary and just a whole new body language. And I see the effects now, and it's like, fuck. Like, 1 week later, it's still worth it. But I know in the next week and the next week and the next week, those benefits just keep accruing. And so am I thankful that he was so pushy to do it? Yes. But there are some people he pushed away. And so, you know, moral dilemma. What do you think? When it comes to teaching somebody like a spiritual truth, you got tons of spiritual truths. When it comes to teaching them, how do you see the moral dilemma of, you know, pushing too hard where you might push them away versus being so passive that they also lose interest and go somewhere else?
Yeah, I think that the stories that I chose, they're very easy for me to answer. I wouldn't do anything that kills. Like, I would leave whatever controls alone. I would have the guard kill the other person, and the third one I was going to ask, whatever. I don't want my hand to be the hand that kills another human being, because that's, I believe, the framework that is correct when it comes to morality. So I wouldn't kill a person.
Wait, so the one where you were like, save one person or 10 other people die?
Yeah, I would not kill a person to save 10.
You would not kill a person to save 10. So you would kill 10 people to save one?
No, I would not kill anyone, not kill anyone.
Inaction is action too. If you don't choose, that's still a choice. That's not choice.
That's true. But it's an illusion, because I'm not actually killing those 10 people.
So is the killing. The killing is an illusion. They were going to die anyway.
Yeah, but that's my hand killing the other person.
Okay, so your invisible hand of making a choice to not act, you know, it's like, wow, that's just mind-blowing. That's so mind-blowing. I mean, I probably feel a little bit like how you feel sometimes. I think that's highly unethical. That you would, knowing nothing else, you would choose to allow 10 people to die so that, or so that one person survived. Just because you didn't want to get involved, because you felt guilty and then you'd have to live with it.
Yeah, you saying I choose to allow 10 people to die, it sounds kind of, I would not allow 10 people to die, but I would not initiate another being's death for whatever kind of fucked up situation is happening.
Okay, so your solution is option C. You would do neither, you would find some other solution.
Ideally, yeah.
Yeah, ideally, nobody dies. I mean,
yeah, this is why it's so tricky. Because
it's not a trick. There should be no option C. It's option A or B. Do you kill one to save 10, or do you do nothing and they kill the one?
When you say to kill one to save 10, it's actually to kill one, nothing else, because you're killing.
Well, but the question was to kill one to save 10.
Yeah, well, that's the illusion. Like, you're actually not saving 10, or you're not killing 10 by not doing anything. You're just not doing anything.
Wait, so tell me the question again. Maybe I misunderstood it. Would you say the story again?
Okay, for example, let's say that you're a surgeon and you're operating on a person, and you know that this person, whatever, has a not very good chance of surviving. And if you just take the plug out, their organs are going to help save 20 people in the hospital.
It depends on their volition. I mean, that's a different situation. I mean, if the person put themselves up for an organ donor, and they said, that's why people say before a certain point, they're like, if I'm like brain dead, then you can just kill me so that you harvest my organs.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I can be wrong. I don't know. I'm willing to change, but in this stage of my life, I don't think that there is a volition that I don't think that you can kill another person with a positive volition or with not a harmful volition. At the very least, you have some kind of ignorance or delusion inside of you for you to do this gross action, very large karmic action. I don't think it can be done. I don't think you can kill someone with pleasure or feeling good about it. Like there has to be some kind of negativity or some kind of delusion or some kind of lack of understanding how things are, or not feeling the other person's beingness.
Yeah, that's really weak. It's really, I mean, it's touching, but no woman would want to get with that. It's, and no man would want to follow that unless the man had nothing to lose. Because if a man that has, like a monk, a renunciate, if a man has nothing to lose, then he'll have that belief. But if a man has anything to protect, anything at all, then he will quickly lose whatever he has to protect with that mentality.
Could you expand? I don't understand.
If you have something to protect and you are met with the prospect of someone is trying to steal or harm what you are sworn to protect, which is just your own word. You say, I'm going to protect something. Somebody comes and they're going to destroy or damage what you have to protect, and you don't stand up.
No, I will stand up for sure.
You'll stand up. Okay, so you stand up. And so you either stand up and you get pummeled by the person, they attack you, and then at some point they destroy you, and then you no longer can protect what you swore to protect, or you attack back. You can say, I'm going to neutralize them and put them in a half Nelson. At some point, when it's clear that the person is not going to stop, neutralizing them means ending them. That's how you neutralize.
Yeah.
And if you choose to not do that, well, let's say I wouldn't want to follow a leader that wouldn't do that. And as a woman, I would be making a dumb choice to follow a man that would not destroy an attacker on me.
Yeah. I would destroy an attacker that's trying to kill my family.
So then it's moral.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you just change your mind, or?
No. It's immoral to kill with an unwholesome intention. And
who's the judge of unwholesome? I mean, it's you and your God, you and your maker, you and whoever cares. I mean, you going to judge somebody else's intention from the outside?
Yeah, this is pointless.
What is?
I mean, this conversation, I just realized. I don't know how I would react in this position. And of course, I want to protect my resources, my family members, everyone around me. And I don't know.
Yeah. So if given the choice to kill one person to save 10, or do nothing and 10 people die, if you know that that's what's going to happen, I mean, that's the conundrum you brought. That's the moral dilemma.
Right. In that case, in that situation, I would not kill. I would not kill no matter what, because I am killing.
Right. So the choice to not act, if you had the choice to kill one, knowing nothing else about the people. Damn it! Somebody calling me. Like, you got to look at that, Yuri. I think
the only way that I would end someone's life is if I knew that this is the only case scenario that I am going to make it out alive, or the people that I love would make it out alive. Then it's very easy, and I don't think there's any negative consequences on me, because I'm doing it just for self-preservation, just to save life. But thinking that by killing this person I'm gonna save 10, it's not. It's an illusion. You're not.
Dude, that's the story. See, you're feeding a story with a question, and you're saying it's an illusion. Why would you give me a question that's an illusion? If the question is not the reality of it, then it's absurd. I mean, I can't just ask you, here's a serious question. And then I give you the serious question, and then you give me an answer, and you're like, no, that's wrong because it's an illusion. The question was an illusion. What the fuck kind of question is that? You're wasting my time with an illusion. No? If you know that 10 people will die, if you don't act, then you kill the one person. If you don't know that 10 people will die, then that's an option. Like, then the question needs to read like this, Yuri. If you kill one person, then you maybe will save 10. But But if you don't kill the person, then maybe 10 people will die. So then by adding in the maybe, it's like, well, shit, if I don't know for sure, if it's for certain that if I act, then I will just do nothing. Yeah, I would do nothing too if it was a bunch of maybes.
Maybe we can unmute some of the people that have their hands raised.
Yeah,
I'm
go
curious.
ahead. Ace was first. Okay, let's see. I don't know how to unmute. Shit, did I just remove her? Oh no, there she is, a panelist. Okay, unmute.
Actually, I didn't mean to raise my hand.
Okay, so you're done.
Yeah, but I did write a bunch of questions, or not a
Right, well-
question, but I proposed a scenario.
Okay, here we go. Quick scenario, because then we got to go. A mom is pregnant with cancer, 23 weeks long, so she's 23 weeks pregnant, but she has cancer. Does she abort the baby and receive treatment, or does she try to save the baby and delay treatment and potentially die? If you were a doctor, what do you do knowing that 24 weeks is potentially viable? I would say, bitch, you need to get your nutrition in line, that you are not taking care of yourself, that there is no reason you should have cancer. You're breathing toxic air, you're eating toxic food, and it's time to go on a juice diet. Stop eating solid food, stop eating meat, stop eating milk, and start taking coffee enemas, take the Gerson therapy, and fix your cancer. Now, if what you're saying is she can't fix her cancer, I'm saying that's the illusion. That's the illusion of the question. And if I was not going to answer that outside information, because that's not the information that you're giving, you're basically saying a cancer, it's uncurable unless she does the prescribed treatment. I just want to say I don't believe in that. I don't believe that the only solutions to cancer is whatever medicine says. But if I was going to go with that, which seems to be the presupposition of the question, then the question is, if you're the doctor, what do you do? I do nothing that she doesn't want to do. It's the woman. It's her body. It's her baby. I maybe convince her based on my own ethics, so you should do this, you should do that. But ultimately, I can do nothing. It's whatever the woman wants to do. And really, ideally, she has a man, and it has a lot to do with what he wants her to do. Let's see. And then, there's more to the question. And delaying a week could kill her. Your doctor, how do you guide the woman? As the okay, so if she goes another week, she might die. She has 1 week to live on cancer. It's a moral conundrum, but the problem is that the cancer didn't just pop up overnight. She didn't like wake up and the cancer was there. She made a lifetime of bad decisions that resulted in that. That is not just like somebody God rolled dice today and okay, we're going to give her cancer today. But yesterday she was fine. Like she made a bunch of bad decisions up to that. And people that make bad decisions, well, they made bad decisions. Like nature is not supposed to allow people to persist who make bad decisions. That would make nature really weak. Nature would be really weak. Nature is tough. You know why? Because the people who made and the animals that made bad decisions, they died and they didn't give offspring. And the ones who made the right decisions, they lived and they gave offspring. And so we're all born of the winners who made good decisions, except for the last generation or two where, there's no really world wars and population, overpopulation and blah, blah, blah. So as a doctor, how would I guide the woman? I would ask a bunch of questions. Where's the man, really? I need to be talking to the man. If the man's not around, then there's another bad decision she made. And so then I'm talking to the woman. Okay, I'm going to be asking questions and ascertain her values. I'd have to be a really spiritual doctor. And depending on her answers to those questions, I would just do whatever she wants to do. That's a tough situation. Yuri, what would you say?
I don't know, man. I'm realizing a lot of things about myself just from this conversation. And yeah, I don't know.
What are you realizing about yourself?
The whatever qualities of mind that I've developed is because of keeping excellent moral conduct. And I'm reevaluating the beliefs that I have because now I see it's not, I don't know, I'm just doubting, or not doubting, but the premises that these beliefs were kept in place are beginning to just shake a little bit. And so I'm thinking about, I don't know.
Yeah, it has to do with like, if you put like most spiritual morals that you'll get from religion, which is most spiritual morals are just derived from religions, are slave morals. They are what a captor would want a slave population who greatly outnumbers him to have. I would want, if I owned 1,000 slaves, I would want them to believe, do not kill for any reason.
You know what? Yes. Because I can clearly see that this one little short 60, 70, 80-year-old human birth is not all there is. And the consequences for doing actions that go against this game of life are too severe to take lightly, or whatever weak society, like, it doesn't really matter. And yeah, I think that if this country, Canada, were to go to war, then I would gladly go to jail. I would not kill for any reason. It's just stupidity.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to kill for my government either. Okay, Ace, you got anything else? You're still panelist. You want to talk or no?
No, that's it. It was just like pretty much my question. Would you advise her? Would you try to save the baby, or would you try to save her life?
Save the baby. Save life.
What did you say?
I would encourage the person to save life, which means the baby and herself. This has no grounding in reality. I'm realizing, and it's just mental.
I mean, the one that I proposed is total reality. Like I mean, see that day in and day out.
All right, Ace.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't make up a story.
Oh, okay,
cool.
I apologize.
So, yeah, a lot of it turns into like a mental masturbation. Apparently, that story is really real, and that actually happened. As a doctor, what my answer is what I would do, and your answer is what you would do. So, we got to wrap it up. Let's see. Gavin says, "I would defend myself. Yep, 100%. My body will instinctually adopt survival, which means in a showdown. Yeah, you of course you would. Listen, like, man, I would feel really bad if the people listening to my podcast began to not protect their environment and the people that rely on them because they think it's morally wrong. I am morally wrong for telling people not to destroy the enemy when they're being attacked.
I am also saying, yes, defend yourself and defend your environment. That's not what I'm not saying.
That's not what I'm not saying. Cool. Awesome. All right, cool, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We do this every weekday. We might be changing the time starting next week, so stay tuned for that. And this is sponsored by Ninth Limb Yoga. Join our private Facebook group on Facebook, the Science of Spiritual Growth, and that'll blow your mind. Lots of free teachings there. And thanks for showing up, everybody. Instagram, YouTube, Zoom. Catch us every weekday. Right. Well, we're going to change the time, so check the descriptions. If you see this on iTunes, leave us a review, screenshot it, and send it to us. There's the link in the description. We've got a special video gift for you. So thanks, Yuri, for tuning in or for hosting with me. And we'll see you all tomorrow. Namaste.